Brock McGillis is a former professional hockey player and a leading voice for the LGBTQ plus inclusion in sport. In 2016, he became the first openly gay men's professional hockey player, coming out after his playing career and choosing visibility over silence. Since then, Brock has dedicated his life to culture shift work in hockey, speaking across North America, challenging locker room norms, and advocating for environments where athletes don't have to choose between authenticity and belonging. Brock, you're coming off of the tale of just touring across the country, across North America, speaking to kids. Thank you for joining us. I know you're probably exhausted, but we have to talk about Heated Rivalry. I would not never miss this opportunity to chat about something that we just never see in mainstream media with somebody who's done the most unconventional thing that they possibly could have ever done and been brave and come out as a hockey player who played professionally. So thanks for joining us.
Oh gosh, my pleasure. There's nobody else I would get up for. Um,
Oh,
After getting in late last night on my last day. It's my f first day off since August.
oh my goodness.
And
How
you're
late?
spending it with us? Wow, no big deal.
Yeah,
Cinderella stories in the
yeah,
cut.
Let's
yeah. I
go.
heard I heard I was gonna be the first guy on, and I was like, oh, I have to. Like,
Yeah.
Yeah,
Set the
there's
bar.
no
Yeah.
other choice. There's no other choice for
no,
sure.
had
And
to be
like to
here.
thank you so much. We literally at this point would usually bang like we have a button when like a man talks or we
Yeah.
talk about a man, but
Mm-hmm.
we are going to make an exception to have you here because Heated Rivalry, as Sav has been mentioning on the last episode, has had us in a goddamn chokehold, to be honest with you.
Yes.
This show is everything of the sort. And I think initially when I was watching it in particular, I'm like, okay, this is cute. Maybe it's a little kitschy. There's like this wave that I'm going to be on. But the more that you kind of dive into it and really like take it in, the storytelling is on point. The characters are on point. The character development is so good. Like this is more than just like a campy show.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, it's a love story. It's a story of, I think that's relatable to a lot of gay men or queer people, and the fact that many of us had to hide who we were, and we haven't seen that representation in this way, and like the struggle, the plight, but also the success and the joy. It's not like, every movie is either, somebody is like getting gay bashed, or every show is like, hyper drug, hyper sexualized, hyper this, hyper that, which is reality and needs to be shown too. But like a mainstream sort of love story that's also steamy and sexy. Like I've never seen mainstream television show this much gay sex and graphic gay sex, and I'm like, that in itself is revolutionary and cool.
Yeah. Would you ever have believed that there would be such positive reception for gay, like a relationship in mainstream media?
Yeah, because who's watching it? The girls, the gays, and the theys. Like it's
Yeah.
it's that's who this is for.
Hmm.
And that's who's like in the media who's talking about it.
Hmm.
I think we have more representation in media than people realize. I think we exist, and I think there's a need, and I think it makes sense to have it in hockey, based off the whole hockey romance subsect of romance, book culture, and fanfic or whatever it is. And then on top of that, like people don't realize this, but over 42% of NHL fans in America are women.
Hmm.
And over 20% of NHL fans in America are LGBTQ plus. Those are fat numbers. Like, I'm
Yeah.
Yeah, those are
sorry.
thick. Those are thick.
But people are making like the mainstream to this point in terms of hockey content has been for the bro dudes,
Hmm.
and great, they need to be represented too. You can hit your buzzer right now if you want. Uh,
Yeah.
Evan.
Drama.
but we haven't been.
Yeah.
And I think they're going to realize that more stories need to be told about women in hockey, queer people in hockey, etc., because we exist in such large numbers, and uh, they can find more fandom through these, demos, and it's exciting.
Yeah, one of the things that always stood out to me when whatever league it was realized that women are fans and LGBTQ plus community are fans, like everything pink and glittery. Let's do that then. Let's do pink jerseys, let's do glittery jerseys. But I think that one of the things that this show displays in particular is that, and we all know this, is that no one people are a monolith. Like they're represented in a ton of different ways. And in this instance, they happen to be hyper masculine, hyper successful hockey players. And the one thing though that I do wonder, and I'm curious your thoughts on it, if it's relevant, if it doesn't matter, is that the girls and the gays are sat for this show for sure. They're also hockey fans. But when we talk about shows like this having impact and having change, does it matter that the target demographic or the audience isn't straight hockey players who could probably use that perspective check on what the story entails and how beautiful and normal and natural it actually is when you think of like just the way relationships unfold?
Am I allowed to swear on this?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. No, truly, like everything's
Okay.
made for them. I go around the country for them.
Yeah.
Like
Okay.
they get everything.
Yeah.
It's like we need something.
Yeah.
And like I love them. They're my dogs, but them. Like truly them. Like we get something. Let us have it. It's one thing,
No,
literally
for
one.
sure. Yeah.
Um, and I'm getting like I don't know if you see my press week. It's been a lot of fun.
Yeah.
But every question is this going to lead to a player coming out? Like,
Mm.
who gives a can we just enjoy something? Like, you know what I mean? And so to the point, like, yeah, we need to find more ways to like evolve language, behaviors, and attitudes in locker rooms so that people can exist. But I go to like 400 plus teams a year. We do a ton of work in those spaces. I'm glad that my community and other communities have something that they can enjoy and feel part of hockey. Because we get a rainbow night, like
Yeah.
Yeah.
cool. You slap
Maybe.
rainbows,
Remember when they
like you're
try to
saying
take
that,
everything away?
but like to your point, you slap pink and glitter and rainbows and you call it like, oh, this is gonna draw them in. No, it hasn't. Like, give us stuff, give us content, make content for these demos, and they will come in droves.
Yeah, it's funny. So like on my website, I have a
Buzzer.
quote.
Yeah.
I have a quote that like in a Sav original. It's Ash hates it when I talk to myself in the third person.
It's embarrassing for all of us.
But
Is this on your TikTok or your website?
my website. Yeah,
Oh,
yeah,
okay.
yeah. TikTok is a different lore. You know about that, my TikTok game. And I have a quote that basically says like sports has the power to unite the world while stories have the power to change it. And I feel like when I watch mainstream media like this, like, okay, it's not gonna take one show that's gonna like make the hugest difference in the world and in the locker room, especially when it's been like culturally driven for, I don't know, the entire human existence. Like it's not like it's gonna change overnight here. But what I did say to Ashley yesterday when we were like debriefing the show was like, I'm not expecting, per se a player to come out, but do I think that this might, if any of them watch it, and I read your article saying, do you think they're gonna watch it? Probably not. But like I think that like if they watch it or if they talk to their wives or their girlfriends or their friends who are watching it, I just wonder and be brutally honest with me because you could also be like, this will not change that either. Do you think this might change a little bit of the language that's used? Because there was a lot of homophobic slurs in the show, like between the F word, between like even just saying phrases in the locker room that definitely lean towards homophobia. Even Shane's mom was like, oh, like talking about Alexi and was like, oh, F him in the butthole, like straight up basically. And like those little things are homophobic in like the under like in the context of the like I guess overall. So do you think that now that people see how harmful those types of phrases can be in terms of somebody not wanting to come out, do you think those are the things that allyship especially might actually change, like in that regard?
I would say if they watched it potentially, but I don't know. It's I don't know if they'll get past the graphic sex enough to even pick up anything else or the critique they'll have of the hockey.
Mm,
You know
Yeah.
what I mean?
All of a
Which,
sudden, facts matter.
yeah. Okay.
hey, and sometimes I watch it and I have a little bit of that. Like,
Yeah.
I get it. I get it. You
That's
know
not
what I mean?
accurate. Yeah.
So, and I'm not trying to shit on them or the show. I think they're both like, I, I go into these rooms daily from NHL down to 12-year-olds. And I don't think there's a lot of malice. I actually think hockey of all the men's team sports would be the most supportive of a gay teammate.
Really?
Interesting.
Yeah, I think they use the most homophobic language on a daily. But I actually think they would ride or die for their teammate the most.
Cool.
Um, yeah,
Interesting.
it's a weird disconnect where their language, behaviors, and attitudes don't meet their thoughts. Like
Huh.
I have literally yesterday, somebody tagged me in their mid-season, like a 16-year-old AAA hockey bro tagged me in their mid-season, like every hockey player in the world right now is putting out like mid-season or like the front nine, and it's like pictures of their like first half of the season.
Hmm.
And he put a picture up of me with his team. And then all of a sudden, I posted on my story after that 50 hockey players across the country just tagging me in their posts like nonstop.
Love.
It's great and it's cute and they like literally I leave rooms now and every hockey bro is hugging me from 20-year-old men to like 13-year-olds. And like they DM me every day. Like it's wild. So I think they would be super inclusive. I think that they've been programmed from generations before them, and there's this vicious cycle. If you look at hockey, the way we're brought up in hockey a little bit different in the sense that we're isolated off in arenas compared to most sports. And we're broken up by age and skill level.
Mhm.
And we have a culture reinforced to us by coaches who come from the same culture. But you look at most sports played in school and whatnot, you have diversity of people, you have diversity of gender, you have diversity of interest. A locker room might be shared by a basketball team, a volleyball team, a soccer team. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
there's different people in there. There's academics still in the stool, gay straight alliances, teachers on staff. We don't have that. So there's a culture that is a disconnect from their actual thoughts. And then they have to adhere to that or they feel like they'll get bullied.
It's ironic because like them also wanting to act or say or feel the things they actually feel is also not acceptable. The
You'll
same
be the
as
fag.
the gay people that, you know, might be closeted as well. So ironically enough, they're going through the same thing in different ways.
Actually, I've changed everything I do now to the point that like I share my story, but it's just a way to get them to realize they can create shifts in
Mm,
society and I teach them how. And one of the ways is breaking conformity. And I do a breakout
yeah.
that's like an hour long with each team where I'm like, tell your teammate something you don't typically tell a teammate because they talk, guys, bros talk about six things: women, video games, partying, sports, music, as long as it's socially accepted music, and gambling. That's
Right.
Wow.
all they talk about in the locker room. And women adhere to similar norms in hockey locker rooms.
Oh,
Because I work with about 75 women's teams a year, and they have five or six things they talk about as well. But so we do a breakdown like, tell me something you typically want to tell a teammate, something you like, something you don't like, something about you, and you're going to have two answers in your head. You're going to have a superficial bullshit answer. I love cooking. I make grilled cheese. Cool. Nobody gives a.
mm,
And then you have a real answer, a brave answer. One you're
Yeah.
afraid to share. Your heart's going to race, your palm's going to sweat, and you don't know if you can get the words out of your mouth.
mm.
And I challenged their courage and bravery earlier in the session. I'm like, you can give me either answer, but you and I will both know if you chose to be brave today or not. And when you
Mm.
challenge the courage of an athlete, all of a sudden, their deepest, darkest stuff that they'd never tell each other, good, bad, ugly, is coming out. And it's like one after another after another. I've had over 250 players across the country in the past 2 months share that they've either self-harm or tried to die by suicide or had suicidal ideation last year.
Wow.
Jesus Christ.
Um, the racism that exists, the mental health struggles. I've had over 1,000 players with some form of anxiety, depression. Um, the stuff they might be going through in their personal lives, the stuff they don't tell each other.
Mm.
And all because they're in the closet with all this the same way the gay kid is. And what I realize is if the straight white bros can't be themselves, how do we create a space where anyone else can exist in there?
Yeah.
Facts. Well then, okay, this is a really great question because it's like I know it's just a reflective one, but basically, like, how do you shift if everyone's thinking the same thing of like, wanting to be more of themselves, basically, then how does the overall hockey culture shift so that's so it's more inclusive locker room? But because it's weird that like you're saying like like in terms of the parallels of at the professional level and all the way down, they always talk about these six things, and there's homophobic slurs in the locker room, but they actually all feel like this. And even myself, from personal experience, having worked very closely with the Trauma Beliefs, I was very taken aback by how welcoming they were, how kind they were, and
Yeah.
like talking to them regularly. Like it was just like, oh, that's not the perception that I have of you, like over here, like hockey culture, hockey bro. Like you're actually really down to earth and really cool. Like I made them eat Jamaican food. I made them eat like oxtail and curry goat, and they're like all for it, like gung ho. And so for like a special show I did, but like I remember like thinking to myself, I'm like, okay, so why is this not reflected over here if you guys control the culture? Like, isn't it? How does that work? Like, who's making up this fat fantasy culture then that doesn't really exist or is
It's
not reflective of what's actually their thoughts?
I think it's no different than I think it starts at a young age, and you have players who are big personalities but don't show it in society, but do behind the scenes, like in the locker room. Um, you might have some younger players playing with older players, and it starts at 7 or 8 years old. And it's like, no, this is what was told to me last year. And this is how we talk. This is what we do. This is what we say. This is how we act. And then we're going to reinforce it on the group a year younger. And then you have coaches who come from cultures like hockey coaches traditionally are ex-players who just stay in hockey.
Yeah.
They're all they've known is hockey.
Mm.
I left hockey. I retired from playing and I ran 3 hockey businesses as a closeted gay man who almost died from struggling so much, hiding who I was. And what did I do? I ran right back to hockey because we're programmed to only be hockey people. It's what people talk to us about at school, teachers, friends, parents, relatives. It's all, from the age of 7.
Hmm.
So I think the insularity of it, where you're in that room every single day, and it's not a room like other sports where you're exposed to other people. Um, soon as, okay, well, my older brother does this, and this is what his team does, and they learned it from teams older than them, and they just continue to perpetuate that same culture on a loop.
Yeah.
Hmm.
And they don't know how to break it. And they're afraid to, because if you're the one who breaks it, you're going to be the fag.
Mm.
Well, and also it's just like you're taught also from a young age in any sport too. There's so much politics. So if you become a problem or you become somebody who's, as you said, like breaking rank, or even just someone who's creating a dialogue that's not conducive to team success, or you're a distraction, regardless of what that may be, your sexuality or something else, they'll move on from you. Like unless you're like a top 1.5% and you're like that guy, they'll find somebody else who can center the second line. They don't give a shit.
When I was playing, I was ranked pretty high on NHL draft lists and supposed to have this trajectory to the NHL, and I was depressed, self-harming. I drank every day from 18 to 23 to numb it, like, and hard, like a bottle a day. at
Mhm.
least.
Mm.
And I started having season-ending injuries every year. I wasn't sleeping. My body just couldn't handle it all. And I was like, well, I can't come out. If I come out like this, there's no like I'm climbing an uphill battle. I'm taking the long road now to try
Hmm.
and
Yeah.
make it. And if I try and come out in this, I'm a distraction. I'm gonna be othered. Nobody's gonna touch me.
Yeah.
And that's the fear. And it's also you see it in the show. They're afraid from right away, like their sponsors or this or that. Ilya's afraid to go back to Russia. And
Hmm.
that's
Yeah, he's scared.
another,
Yeah.
fear and everything else where you're from. I'm from small town Northern Ontario. Like, how do I go back there and train with those guys all summer? They actually ended up being all incredible, but I was
You don't
terrified.
know.
You
And
don't
especially
know.
your whole worth is tied up in it too, to your earlier point. Like everyone's like, oh my God, Brock, the NHL, oh my God, Brock, your training, Brock, your goals, Brock, Brock, Brock. And you're like, okay, so
That
this is the only thing I'm worthy of and for. So if I lose that, then what? I'm just this gay kid who used to play hockey.
who am I? What am
Yeah.
I?
Hmm.
And take that a step further, like from a young age, we start treating junior hockey players and even elite AAA hockey players like 14, 15-year-olds as mini celebrities.
Yeah, pedestal.
Like they're treated like Justin Bieber was. Like they're no in the small towns they're in. Like I
Yeah.
was 16 years old getting my friends into clubs VIP with owners of bars coming up with trays of shots.
Yeah.
Like knowing I'm 16. If you start acting a certain way and people are treating you and revering you for it, then you just think that's normal and that's how I'm supposed to act to get treated like a little god.
Mhm.
And then, Mitch Marner got ripped apart for saying we get treated like gods here or something like that. You know what I mean? But
Yeah.
then take that and that now if a junior player is doing that and a 15-year-old sees the junior player doing that and they think, oh, that's how I have to act. And then the 13-year-old sees the 15-year-old and then it just becomes a vicious cycle.
The trickle down effect.
Totally.
Honestly, point blank, like if this show came out, if Heated Rivalry came out when you were a young player, would it have made a difference? And in what ways?
Ooh.
Mm.
Well, it's really weird because like if it would have came out before I decided to figure out who I was, because like I adhered to the norms too, and you can buzz me on this one, but I was
No.
like, I no, I was a womanizing hockey bro.
Mm.
Okay.
Like I'm
Then
I'm
yeah, maybe a
I'm
light.
ashamed. Yeah, hit me with it. And I'm ashamed to admit it, but I was like I adhered to the norms in a lot of ways. I wasn't that big of a dick, but like I wasn't an angel. And then I was like, I was in Europe and I sat myself down one day and just said, you need to figure this the out. Because like I went from being on NHL draft list, supposed to have a straight trajectory to the show to being depressed, self-harming, drinking, injuries. All of a sudden I'm 23 and I'm playing in the minors in
Mm.
Yeah.
Europe. And I just went, one, hockey's going downhill fast. Two, if you keep going down this path, you're gonna end up dead.
Yeah.
So like I dated a guy for 3 years without a soul knowing.
Mm.
Really?
I came to Toronto instead of going to Sudbury and I went on a date with a guy. We dated for 3 years without anyone knowing, not a friend, family member, nobody. I have the craziest story about him if you want to hear a crazy
Yes.
story.
Oh, we are all for the lore here.
Okay, so we date for 3 years. Nobody knows. Like there's a scene in where Shane brings Ilya to Montreal
I saw that. Yes.
and he sneaks him out through his fire escape. I went to Concordia. I took a step back from pro hockey. I had a couple of knee surgeries, and while we were dating, which made it easier to date because I was injured. And then when I went back, I decided I was going to take a step back, and I moved to Montreal to go to school. And I played, but I decided to play on the hockey team at Concordia in case I want to take another crack at the NHL one day. And I brought him to visit me, and I snuck him up to my condo like that. Like this show is triggering. So we
Yeah.
broke up right after that. We didn't see each other for 10 years. He didn't want me in his life because I wasn't in a place where I can give him. I told him I had to go on dates with girls while I was playing. And he couldn't handle that. I get it. There was other stuff with us. We were very open and honest and transparent with each other, and he knew who I was, and there was no like he wasn't my I get people online like he was your dirty little secret. I'm like, you don't know us. But he couldn't be in my life. And I respected it. I was sad. I was heartbroken. I wanted him in my life. I love him. I loved him. We didn't see each other for 10 years. And then I had a show for a while with World of Wonder, like RuPaul's Drag Race, after I came out. So 2019, I'm in LA and I'm walking to a gym at like 7:30 in the morning before I'm going to film. And I'm walking across Santa Monica Boulevard in West Hollywood. We bump into each other in the middle of the street.
No
I
way.
swear to God. Like middle of the street, 7:30 in the morning. And it was like I saw a ghost.
Oh my God. Were people around? Like, was it busy or was it just
No,
like
it's
two shadows?
7:30
I was gonna say,
a.m.
why are you up that early?
So,
Because we were going to film. It was the only time I had to work out before I went to film all day. And so we went off to the side and we talked for a couple minutes and I was like, we need to like hang out. Like this is serendipitous. Like it's meant like
There's
let's
a
grab
reason.
coffee while I'm here at dinner or something. Like
Yeah.
let's go talk. He was married at the time and his husband said no.
Okay.
Which I respected. A year later, we're in COVID. He sends me a text and he's like, we split and I really regret not going for. And like Matt and I are together and it was just friends, but now we're really good friends.
Aww.
Wait, I love that.
Yeah.
Okay,
What are
okay.
the chances, first of all? Like, you guys if I had a friend like that like it was like lovers to friends kind of thing, and there was like all that time and space between us, like I literally every month would look at them and be like, can you believe we made it back here?
Yeah.
It's crazy. Like we still like he texted me because we lived this show
Yes.
together.
That's
so
exactly
who do
what
you
I
relate
wanted to
to?
ask. Yeah, that's exactly what I wanted to ask you actually was like because you said this show was triggering for you. And so one, did you cry at any parts of watching back the show? And two, yeah, exactly. Like what storyline, what moments or characters did you relate to the most?
I relate to three in different ways. I relate to um oh shit, now names are escaping
This
me.
is giving Scott Hunter and Kip, to be honest.
Yeah.
So I'm
It's like a fusion.
I'm a bit of three people. I'm Shane in the paranoia in the first episode. I was like, oh, I'm Shane.
Mhm.
Uh my fiance tells me I'm a cocky prick like Ilya, which he's not
Non-derogatory.
wrong. Like
Non-derogatory, complimentary.
Yeah,
I
facts.
love it. I will take it. I
Yeah.
am that.
Mhm.
And I would say I'm like so that first episode when they were so freaked out and um that was me. That was
Okay.
me the first time I was with a guy. That was me through the start of our relationship. But I was also Hunter.
Mhm.
Like I've literally when that episode, so different points I was triggered in this show. Like episode one, I had to slam. I was in Calgary on tour, and my fiance's like, "You need to watch this show." And this guy like will not like. We've been together 9 years. Nothing hockey. Does not care. Will not watch it. Wants nothing to do with it. I brought him to a Leafs playoff game one year, and they tried to give him a towel to wave around. And he goes, "Thank you, but I have nicer linens at home." Like.
Are you sure your fiance's not Ilya?
No, yeah, like, but also that's so real because the feel of them is not nice.
No,
He's like, I don't want that.
they're
He's like,
It's not for
microfiber.
your face. It's not for
No,
your
it's for
skincare.
he's like,
cleaning.
why am I being herded into this arena like cattle? Like
I love this
The,
diva.
the,
I
the
love
thing
the
is that
diva.
it's not a hockey show though. Like so much of the discourse is like I've watched 5 episodes of this in 5 hours and I know less about hockey than I did when I started. And I like that part about it too, where it's like hockey is the vessel because of everything that it represents and all the barriers that are in place, but it's actually a love story. It's a relationship story. And I think that's part of the beautiful like aspect of it, honestly.
well, so I've been in public with my ex while we were and got so freaked out, sprinted out like Scott Hunter did.
Oh wow.
Wow. Yeah, because
We had
I was reading your articles and so please dive more into this because
we had aliases in our phones like Ilya and Shane.
What
We
were
had a
they?
fake. He had a guy's in my phone. I probably had a woman's name. I was going to therapy, and I would talk about my girlfriend.
And it was him? You didn't even
Yeah,
tell your therapist. That's crazy.
did
no.
the therapist know?
You're
Well,
like,
on the
no.
Like I don't know, but clearly the therapy didn't work at that point. Like if you can't be honest to the therapist, it's not going
Yeah.
to make you better.
facts.
Um, we had a fake name, like a guy's name for his friend so that I could eventually like start going out a little bit and they couldn't find me on social media.
Mm-hmm.
So he picked a name and we had a name for me that we used with his friends so I could go for drinks in the village in Toronto and nobody would know.
Oh, with his gay friends.
Yeah, this is like
Oh, so they couldn't.
Facebook, MySpace
Hmm.
days. This is like pre-Instagram and stuff.
Yeah.
Um, so yeah, this is like 2008. Like it's also set around the same time. Like
Yeah.
we were together in 2010.
Yeah.
Well, this show is it was like this whole thing is like I cried in the fifth episode when he pulled him down on the ice.
Yeah.
And I think it's beautiful and I love it. And there's a part of me that's like, I never got to experience that while I was playing. Like I got my happy ending and everything's great and I love Matt and I'm so happy, you know. Um, but it would have been cool to have it all.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like if I could have had the career I was supposed to have where my identity was wrapped up in blah 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 and still been gay, that would have been really cool. Um, Granted, I don't think it would have made me the person I am today, and I think the work I do in the world is probably better than, that NHL career that I would have had. Like I would have
Yeah.
I'm more satisfied with what I do now.
Hmm.
Um, but yeah, so much of it, I like to the point, Justin, my ex, like texts me. He's like, "How are you doing watching this?"
Mm,
He's like, "Because I'm a little triggered, and this is more you than me." Like,
Yeah. This is your world. Yeah. Yeah, that's so interesting because like there's a saying too, like you can have it all, you just can't have it all at once. But I think that to your point too, like everything happens for a reason. And Savannah and I talk about this all the time, like more in tune with like our careers and stuff like that, like opportunities that we get or we don't
mhm.
get. And it's like everything happens for a reason. And sometimes I feel like humans use that as a bit of a crutch to like not fall off the edge of
Yeah,
a cliff when
yeah,
things
yeah,
don't
yeah,
go your
yeah,
way.
yeah.
But also, I think too, to your point, like the stuff that you're doing right now is like with all due respect to your hockey career is just like so much more impactful than even like winning a cup or scoring a couple of goals or whatever the case may be. So like I truly feel like most people are exactly where they need to be, or if not, being put on a path to do so.
I agree with you, and thank you for that. That means a lot. It's I wouldn't trade it. I wouldn't trade any of the experiences. I'm glad I went through. Like I've seen some media people talk about like, oh, this is like closet culture and this is like gay shame culture, and it's like you haven't lived that world, dog. Like who are you to sit there without understanding? It's like a torture chamber.
mm.
It's like you're it's psychologically tortured daily, being beaten down every single day by words, behaviors, actions from the people you're supposed to be closest to. You're in a culture where you're naked constantly, and especially in hockey locker rooms, like those guys just sit around naked, like for no reason. Like
No, they're
they're
free
just,
balling constantly.
oh yeah,
Yeah.
like they're reading the
Yeah.
newspaper, like when people used to read the newspaper. Like they would be sitting, I'd walk into a pro locker room and guys would be naked just reading the newspaper.
Yeah.
I
Wow.
was playing. Now they're on their phones, but same shit. You know what I mean? Like, and you don't know what it's like, and you're gonna sit there and shame a show that's talking about this in that way. And it's like, well, it's a real experience. Like literally, I lived it. I know. So how can you sit there and rip it when you haven't lived it? And there's a lot of gay men doing that, or they're talking about, well, this, like, they're only showing like really hot bodies, blah 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 blah. Yeah, it's a professional sports show.
They're hockey players.
Yeah.
Like, there's
Like,
not really
oh,
any milk bags in the NHL, babe.
like, I'm sorry, you can't look. There's very few. Phil Kessel's been the only one that I've seen that's been able to do it at an elite level. Well,
Respectfully.
maybe not being in the best
Best shape
shape
of his
at all
life.
times.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, very few players can do that.
Yeah.
They're professional athletes. Like, can we have some critical thinking skills? There's other shows that are meant to show body positivity and different things, and that's great, and we need that. But there's also people who live this.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And there's more than we realize. Like, Gen Z is identifying as LGBTQ plus at approximately 25% in Canada.
Wow.
Alpha is going to be even higher.
Mhm.
Like, it's going up all the time. In America, it's 25-ish%, and that's with states like Alabama at 1%
Mm-hmm.
identifying. So, like, it's probably even higher. And I know a friend of mine went to med school, and he learned in med school that 50% of millennials experiment with the same sex
Mhm.
in some capacity. And so I'm like, this is an experience that people have. I know I had it. Like,
Is this play about me? Is this like actually?
like,
Did
low
someone
key,
read my diary? The
I
one
was
thing that we
like,
know for
Rachel
sure.
Reed, did you stalk me? Like, do I need a restraining
No,
order, Rachel?
No,
Like,
literally.
I want to cut. Run me 10%, bro. Because like, but the one
Or
thing that
give
we
me
know
my
for
spinoff.
Facts. I want to have both of you guys in a room together and see what she says.
Oh, we've talked. I like Rachel. She's awesome.
Oh,
Yeah.
I
really?
think the world of her. Yeah,
What did she
yeah.
say? What did she tell you?
I she like I don't think I influenced it, but she said, like, she'd been like curious about gay men in hockey since the 80s or 90s.
Mhm.
And then
Huh.
when she started writing these types of books, it it was like really impactful for her, and probably people, friends of hers, etc. And then she told me, she goes, like, she said something along the lines, I can't remember her exact wording, but she said, like, your coming out really impacted me.
That's nice.
And it was really cool. And I'm hoping, I'm going to Halifax on tour in January, so I'm hoping we can link up while I'm there and sit down and have coffee, and maybe she can write my stories.
That would be awesome.
Yeah.
Let us do the forward.
Yes,
I just met you
please.
today, but I'd love to do the forward.
Done. Done.
No, I think the one thing that we've learned about all this is that, like, no matter what it is, people will try and tear it down. And I think that this is case in point. Again, it's like, this doesn't represent this, it doesn't represent this. Not everything is for you or about you all the time. Please take it for what it is, what it's meant for. And like, can we please just for once in our lives look at an overarching issue and be like, there's not body positivity involved? Like, okay, cool, but like, it's historically accurate for hockey players. And also, like, there's bigger things going on. It's also a show. Like, they're gonna choose hot people. Like, I'm sorry, have we seen some of like the historical figure actor comparisons?
Yeah.
And
It ain't always that.
like we eat ourselves alive. I actually think it's partially why the patriarchy still wins. And different things in that world. It's because we do too much infighting
Mm.
instead of looking at, to your point, Ashley, the big picture.
Yeah.
It's like, I'm not represented on Drag Race. I still watch Drag Race. I
Yeah.
love it. And I'm happy for all those queens, and I want them all to go make bank and have, but I don't really see myself there.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I pose other shows that are queer, but they're not meant to show me this cis white masculine presenting hockey bro.
Mm-hmm.
Why would I expect to see myself there? Like, it's like, but I can enjoy it for what it is, and I can see this culture and thrive and be celebrated and think, like, this is fucking cool.
Yeah.
And
Oh, go, sorry.
no, go ahead, go ahead.
No, I want to kind of circle back on something that you said. And for the audiences that are listening to Cinderella stories and follow mainly women's sports, but hey, the girls, guys, the days. I want to go back and touch a little bit on why you came out. And because there wasn't a show like this that kind of like opened the conversation. And this, I know you said like you're getting to a point where it was life or death basically at that point, but it's still hard. And why did you, and honestly, it sounds stupid, but like, why did you choose life out of it? Because a lot of people have chosen death.
Yeah, I don't know why I'm alive. I haven't been able to figure out the answer to that.
Mm,
I don't think I should be, meaning based off what I did back then and some choices I made, I don't think I should exist today. I'm grateful that I do. And I came out in different like it's interesting because when you see shows, it's like, oh, that person came out. It's like, well, I came out in waves. Like, yeah, I do a ton of press. Yeah, I'm in the media. Yeah, I do this. Yeah, I do that. But I still have to come out sometimes. Like people meet me and they're like, oh, do you have a wife? And I'm like, oh, I have a husband.
Yeah, his name's
You know,
Matt.
yeah.
yeah, I have a wife. His name's Matt. Funny story, and I'll tell you this in a second. But like, so when I first came out to anyone, like obviously I was out to my ex and a couple of people in his life. Um, I became friends with Brendan Burke, Brian Burke's son.
Oh, wow.
When he came out publicly, I saw it on TV and I reached out to him and we would talk daily. I was closeted. I was in Montreal. I had just broken up with Justin and I was alone. And he had hockey family, he had, gay friends, but I think we understood each other because nobody else understood this duality of worlds, right? We talk every day. And one day he sent me a text that said, I can't wait for the day that you're out to your family like I'm to mine. And I ignored him. Even though I knew my family being inclusive or supportive, but they were so involved in hockey and I was taking the long road that I was afraid that they would be reactionary to language, behaviors, attitudes, stand up to it, and in the process, potentially accidentally out me.
Mm.
So I ignored his message, and those ended up being the last words he ever said to me. 2 days later, he passed away in a car accident.
Oh no. I didn't
And
know this story.
yeah, and I ended up coming out to my family and all my friends who were involved in hockey to honor him.
Okay.
And I didn't come on the sport, and then I retired. And after I stopped playing, I moved back to Sudbury and I started working with hockey players. I was doing off-ice training on a skill development. I was working with over 100 players a day. And I had these like growing, thriving businesses. And I was afraid that if the bros in particular knew I was gay, they wouldn't want to work with me. So I hit it for 5 years. And then one day I got a phone call from a hockey mom, and this mom calls me and she goes, Brock, I want to set you up on a date. And I said, like at first I panicked
Yeah.
and I started like trying to think of an excuse, but low key I kind of wondered what she thought my type was. So I asked her, I said,
Brock.
well, I had to know.
No, I am you, you are me. Because like I'd be like, well, what do you mean? Like, what do they look
Yeah, what does
like?
she look like? What does she
Right.
do?
Are they
Um,
tall?
yeah, right. And so I asked her, I said, well, what's her name? And she said, Steve.
Clocked you.
And I said, what? And she said, his name is Steve. And I said, what? And
That's scary.
she said, Brock, you're gay. And I started to say, I don't know what you're talking about. She got super impatient and basically started shouting at me on the phone. She's like, you're gay, Brock. You're really gay. And I'm like, how how do you know this? Her son told her son was 15. I came to find out all my athletes knew I was gay. And
That's
instead
crazy.
of I
And you
started
thought you were
observing their
so slick this whole
right,
time.
But that was
like
really sweet that they never made it
totally.
obvious. Yeah.
And I started to notice anytime they'd say something homophobic, because it was still normalized in the culture, they would freeze up and apologize to me from pros to kids. And I that was kind of a catalyst. I experienced some homophobia in the sport. Like my businesses were blackballed by hockey groups. And then right after that season, Pulse happened in the mass shooting in Orlando, Florida, where
Yeah.
49 people were murdered. And right after that, one of my friends was running a major LGBTQ plus not-for-profit, and he ended up on a terrorist hit list. Yeah, a week after Pulse in Toronto. And
Wow.
and it's like I won't say which one it is, but it's like the biggest one. And he we went to a charity event together where we had undercover security around us the entire night, and I just went, I'm done. And I called a friend of mine. I didn't know who I was gonna call, and then I called Sanaya Saperji. I don't know if either of you know Sanaya.
No.
She used to write for the Star, and then she was at Yahoo Sports now. She's at the Athletic. I think she's working actually in basketball now.
I was gonna say that
Okay.
Uh,
name rings a bell to me.
I think she's covering like she's an editor in basketball for the Athletic. But when I was in the OHL, she was covering the OHL, and she actually saved my life one night. And so I knew when I was coming out, I called her. I said, all right, like I'm doing this. Do you want to be the person I work with? And she's like, oh, yeah, of course. Like, so I wrote an article that dropped in November 2016, hoping it would help a few people, just empowering myself. And I got over 10,000 messages from people all over the world. Then I started getting calls from media across Canada, globally. Then I was calls to speak at schools, events, corporations, sports teams. And it'll be 10 years next
Next
year.
year.
Yeah. And like my work has evolved tremendously, but like by by 2019, I closed down all my hockey businesses and I moved here full time because I was speaking so much.
Yeah.
And then it just became like I found it difficult. And like I have hockey bros coming to me like crying because they're not on power plays. And then I have, you know, queer people coming to me saying, hey, I'm going to die.
Yeah.
And who do I want to help? Like I want to help them all, obviously, but like I became very impatient because they in the grand scheme of life, the power play didn't seem like a big thing. It is to them, and I don't want to negate that, but in the overarching society, I was like, and then now it's like transforming. Now it's I'm mostly helping. I am helping queer folks and supporting them, but I'm as much helping hockey players and just deeper. Like
Yeah.
from you name it, I see it from like people disclosing things like SA to other things, like and able to help them get support. Like I have about 100 hockey players that DM me journal entries every day across the country.
Wow.
Like just things they're proud of about themselves, things that make them a good hockey player, things that make them a good human. Like, and I it's like this weird, I don't know how, like it feels odd that I got here. Um, but yeah, it was never my intention. I thought I was going to come out, keep running hockey businesses, maybe be stuck in Sudbury, even though I wanted to be like, I was like, I started dating Matt around that time, and I was literally 3 days a week living in the Royal York, like dating him. That's another thing, like watching them in hotels,
Yeah.
Mm.
Just like room
only
number
dating in hotels.
1221.
That's literally how my fiance and I dated for 2.5 years. I'd
Wow.
be hotels in Toronto 3 nights a week.
Well,
Yeah,
I don't want to take up too much of your time. I feel like I could talk to you for 10,000 years. So maybe we'll have to do a repeat performance
let's do
of
it
this trio. I would love that so much. But I think,
anytime.
I'll let Sav say her own last words, but I think I speak for both of us when I do say that like I'm so glad that this show came out for a multitude of reasons, but I'm also glad it brought you on Cinderella Stories because as I
Same.
mentioned before, I'm glad that you're here still. I'm glad that you found your deeper purpose. And I'm glad that every day you're helping not only kind of change the foundation of hockey culture to a place where everybody can feel like they have the power to be themselves, but then also in more important ways, if you will, just because you are saving lives. So I think
Thank
that
you.
is under that category of like important, the Lord's work, amen, if you do subscribe.
Absolutely. And like even just to build onto that, like you're saying thank you. I'm gonna say thank you to you for being the first, because being the first in any room is, people don't understand, like it's not just hard, it's almost impossible. And to exist into like your full existence, and then also own it in rooms that were never constructed, never meant, and degraded people like yourself for existing. And so I think that's what speaks to me. And honestly, for being so for real, like don't get me wrong, I love Heated Rivalry. I was just telling Ashley, I'm looking forward to Heated Rivalry season finale more than Christmas right now. And but like it's the impact on a day-to-day basis, on a tangible basis, like you have more impact in those rooms than any TV series like this would actually have. Yeah, it's like mass, but you are in the thick, you're in the trenches, and it takes seeing to believe, and you are the tangible example. So
Thank you.
I
That's
appreciate it.
very kind.
It's not just a fiction. It's reality.
Not me still thinking of the question, like, what are you not telling people about yourself? That I feel like is so powerful. Like, I want to give our audience homework. Like, go tell somebody that you love something that you are holding in, because it can be transformative.
I can tell you some of the answers when we're not on,
Mhm.
but
Recording.
it's wild.
It's wild.
Wow. Wow.
Alrighty.
Thank you for joining us on Cinderella Stories.
Thank
All right,
you.
well, I'll
Thank
be
you for
back.
having me.